best. Today's fighters, they have been taught that that's not the way to do it nowadays. Nowadays, go for the bag.
Got lucky because the only fight for Tank outside of after Lamont Roach was Shakur Stevenson.
Facts.
Right? Now they've got another opponent that will do well at the gate because of the controversy.
Yep.
And it ain't Shakur Stevenson. I keep telling people, Shakur Stevenson beats Tank.
That article, when we look at all the great fighters that's been, I wouldn't say disrespected, but they was going through that. Oh, he ain't fight this, he ain't do this. All of them go through that. That's part of the boxing game. Stay strong, youngin.
Roy Jones Jr. confronted Gervonta Davis, telling him he should face Shakur Stevenson instead of Jake Paul. He criticized modern fighters for chasing money over legacy, saying they've lost sight of boxing's true purpose, creating history. Roy claimed Tank inherited Floyd Mayweather's business-first mindset, choosing safe fights for profit instead of taking risks that build greatness. He warned that boxing has shifted from passion and pride to a money-driven sport.
Why can't he do it? You know what I'm saying? He made more money than anybody. He was smarter than everybody. He didn't take too many stupid risks. That's what he did, and it worked for him. And people are okay with that and accepting it, so why can't Tank do it? Tank can do the same thing the mentor did. That's what the mentor is for, to teach you how to do this thing the smart way and not get you hurt, not have to take no risks, not to take many chances. So if that's what you learn, wow.
Experts agree that the real fight fans want is Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Davis, a matchup of pure skill and legacy. Both are elite, undefeated fighters whose clash would represent true competition. Unlike Jake Paul, who's still seen as a celebrity boxer, Shakur and Tank built their reputations through discipline and mastery. Fans see their potential fight as a return to what boxing stands for: talent, pride, and legacy, not fame and viral moments.
We can get Shakur to have 2 belts, we have Tank to get a couple of the belts, and you have a undisputed fight for those two in Las Vegas, in America, between 2 American guys getting undisputed championship of the world. That would be a mega fight. And we're talking about 2 guys that you have the most dominant, persistent, powerful guy, pound for pound powerful guy, I should say, in Tank, who also is very good defensively, but then you're fighting the best defensive fighter in the entire world, in my opinion. That is a fight I would love to see happen. I would be a big fan of, but I think if we could let that kind of fester and develop for a little bit, and we get that fight, summertime next year, fall of next year, where this is an undisputed fight, I think that's the fight we would love to see happen. I would be all for that, and I think it's realistic. Like I said, I don't think Tank's losing to anybody except for possibly Shakur, and I don't think Shakur's losing to anybody except for...
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. firmly stated that Jake Paul will never become a world champion, not out of hate, but out of truth. He explained that championship-level boxing demands experience, ring IQ, and years of hardship, not just fame and selective matchups. Though he credited Jake for improving and promoting the sport, Roy emphasized that greatness comes from facing real threats, not easy paydays. His words reflected an era when fighters earned respect through challenge, not celebrity.
A champion?
No.
Why?
I think if they make him fight tough opponents, guys with experience, those guys will beat him. Now, if you catch somebody like myself at the end of their career, or somebody like Tyson, he caught it in the career, the chances are much higher. Because now it becomes more of a 50-50. You got a guy who's better than him, but the age factor. You understand me? And that's the only way to balance it for him to make it a 50-50 fight. Somebody who's on his level at the same age, those guys have too much experience. Yeah. You understand me? So he's not going to beat those guys. But you find a guy who is past his prime, who has a mentality further than his, but past the prime, it kind of evens the stakes.
Tim Bradley believes Shakur Stevenson doesn't need a fight with Tank Davis. He argued that Shakur's interest in Tank isn't about legacy, but about exposure. Tank's name brings big pay-per-view numbers. Bradley said boxing today is full of fighters chasing fame, not greatness. Still, he admitted Shakur sees Tank as a meaningful test because of his power and popularity, though he insists true champions should value legacy over money.
Of course. So, with that being said, why even want to entertain the fight with Tank Davis? I mean, how much credit are you going to really get, Shakur, besides the money, right? That's what Tank brings. He brings interest. He brings a lot of fans in the seats, But as far as legacy goes, if people are holding Tank at a very low status, what, do you need him? Do you really need him? How you doing, man? Good morning. Do you really need him? because I personally don't think that you need him. You know, Shakur, you should be here to create your own legacy. You know, you're about the competition. You are about that bread as well. And I think it's important for you to really look at the landscape, man, of boxing and see where your big money fights are, you know, besides Tank Davis. As you know, you hear through the grapevine, I think he even told you on X that, you know, he's contemplating retirement after his Jake Paul fight. You know, you're getting ready, hopefully, if Teofimo Lopez signs the contract, Shakur, to be fighting Teofimo Lopez, who has accomplished quite a bit in the sport, man, and has been in the ring with some legends, Josh Taylor, also Lomachenko. I think that type of fight makes sense. You know, going up to 140 pounds, getting another strap, you know, beating the quote-unquote the Ring Magazine champion, or considered the best #1 fighter at 140 pounds.
Carl Fruck blasted Jake Paul's choice to fight Gervonta Davis, calling it bullying. He said Jake's size advantage makes the matchup unfair and proves nothing about real boxing skill. Fruck dismissed the fight as a business stunt designed for views, not competition, saying Tank gives up too much in weight to make it legitimate. He criticized how boxing is drifting away from fair fights and becoming a spectacle built for profit.
Ridiculous. Jake Paul's taking the piss, like he always does. Just from saying I'm going to fight AJ tonight, fighting Gervonta Davis. Yeah. He's 100 pounds in weight lighter. 100 pounds. Weight divisions in boxing are split up, some of them, the lower weights, by 3 or 4 pounds. All I can say about Jake Paul fighting somebody half his size is, he's a bully. Why are you fighting a guy half his size? It's wrong. Yeah. Gone from Krusty the Clown now to Sideshow Bob. He's getting worse. You know what I mean? Like, this is a guy that's just taking the piss out of the sport, and I don't think this is actually gained much interest. The press conference was dead. Yeah. I noticed there wasn't many press there. It's not had a big media coverage. Yeah. I think people are finally realising, actually, that this is a big charade. And yeah, I think I'm not impressed. Gervonta Davis, I think maybe he's had enough of the game. He got a draw in his last fight. He was lucky to get the draw as well. But yeah, the whole thing, again, it's a clown.
Shakur Stevenson boldly claimed Tank Davis avoids fighting him because he knows how dangerous that matchup would be. Shakur said his defensive mastery and fight IQ could frustrate Tank's aggressive style, which is why Tank's camp avoids it. Fans saw his comments as a psychological jab, a challenge meant to push Tank into the ring. But so far, Tank has stayed quiet, focusing on safe, high-paying bouts instead of risky, legacy-defining fights.
Before I go, why not fight Tank at 135?
Tank ain't gonna fight him, man. He not gonna fight him.
You gotta realize with Tank, he on that other side with
take on the cupcakes. Now let's say it.
Man, I'm quite sure.
Look,
so you saying he don't want to put that record up?
Look,
Shady. Hey, Shady. I know Tank. I know Tank, Shady.
I know Tank too.
Let him talk. Go ahead.
Hey, I know Tank too, and I know for a fact at the end of the day, like, he is not jumping into no fight with me. Like, that's a whole different type of atmosphere. That's not like fighting. I'm saying.
So basically, you telling me Tank's scared?
I ain't gonna say the man's scared. I'm just saying for a fact.
So what
I know he not.
Promoter Eddie Hearn said Tank Davis never truly wanted to fight Jake Paul for competition. It was all business. He claimed Tank ignored tougher fights with Lamont Roach or Shakur Stevenson in favor of a safer, more profitable choice. Hearn insisted that if Tank wanted real challenge, he'd face Shakur, who, he believes, would win due to his precision and superior boxing IQ.
What would the next step be for Tank?
I heard they were going to fight Jake Paul. When I see Jake Paul at the event, and I see Jake Paul posting from the private jet with a picture of Gervonta Davis.
Slapped it.
Yeah, but they had that for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
You had to buy it. You had to get it made.
Yeah, but I can't believe that fight was going to happen. But anyway, crazy stuff's happening. Yeah, you got to rematch Lamont Roach. You got to. It'll probably get ordered. That's the reality by the New York State Athletic Commission. But listen, they may have got lucky because the only fight for Tank outside of after Lamont Roach was Shakur Stevenson.
Facts.
Right now they've got another opponent that will do well at the gate because of the controversy.
Yep.
And it ain't Shakur Stevenson. I keep telling people, Shakur Stevenson beats Tank. You cannot say that Shakur Stevenson would not have beaten Tank last Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Shakur Stevenson's criticism of Tank Davis for fighting Jake Paul sparked heavy debate. Shakur felt Tank was wasting talent by chasing fame over challenge. Some analysts defended Tank, saying all fighters take easier fights for money at times. Still, Shakur's frustration reflected a deeper truth, that a boxer of Tank's caliber should be seeking legacy, not publicity.
Shakur Stevenson keeps talking about Gervonta Davis. Now, he's being asked about Gervonta, so it's not as if he's just going out of his way to just start talking nonsense, and I don't believe he's talking nonsense any way it goes, but he was asked in one of his recent interviews about Gervonta, and he said that he doesn't believe Gervonta Davis is a competitive fighter right now. That is because he is fighting Jake Paul in a exhibition fight that will be taking place. I do believe it's November 13th or somewhere around there is going to be the date. Obviously, Shakur Stevenson is talking out the side of his neck with that, because just because Gervonta Davis takes one exhibition doesn't mean that he's not a competitive fighter. He just fought Lamont Roach earlier this year, proves that he is obviously a competitive fighter, and he's already stated that once he goes and picks up this money from Jake Paul, that he's going to come back and he's going to go back to boxing. So I reject the idea that Gervonta Davis is not a competitive fighter. He's not fully into the scene like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson are, where Mike Tyson has had, his second or third exhibition. This will be his third one coming up. He had one against Roy Jones. He had another one against Jake Paul, and now he's going to have one against Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has been doing these for years and years and years, ever since way back in 2016 or 2017, whatever the year was, when he beat Conor McGregor in what should have been an exhibition, but was counted as Floyd Mayweather's 50th professional win. Gervonta Davis has not done nearly enough to be considered a full-time exhibition fighter. So I think Shakur Stevenson is not just a little bit off on that, but a lot off on that. I just think that is an unfair representation.
Showbiz the adult took a different angle, warning that Jake Paul shouldn't be underestimated. He said Jake is an opportunist who'll take full advantage if Tank slips. With his power and confidence, Jake could surprise everyone. Showbiz advised Tank to stay focused and treat the fight seriously, not as an easy payday, or it could backfire.
What are your thoughts on that,
Tank, everybody he fight, he make famous. Roach was a nobody before he fought. Nobody. World champion. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this. If any of them top guys that they talk about would have had an offer that been offered to Tank, they'd have jumped on it too. That's happening. You know what I'm saying? My suggestion is, you put me in a light where everybody know me now. You know what I'm saying? Let me keep it moving. I come back to Tank later. You know what I'm saying? I understand that's the biggest payday of his life. You know what I'm saying? But it's more out there. You know now. You know what I'm saying? You look at Pitbull, he running with it. Brody still on top. Barrio still on top. You know what I'm saying? Martin about to fight soon, so it's about to see where he's at. I just look at it like, oh, forget about that. Tank, go in and do what you got to do, because at the end of the day, it's about taking care of you and your family. You know what I'm saying?
It was more of a business decision for this fight. Is there still hope that a rematch happens?
It's based on the individuals, you know what I'm saying? Because we have seen old fighters get back in the ring to finish this settlement. It's based on the fighters of what they want to do. And one thing people don't understand, money is being spent before the fight. You see what we walked into. It was a nice press conference from New York to here. A lot of money been involved doing what they're doing to get it off, you know what I'm saying? And actually, everybody didn't believe in the Tank and Roach fight, the first fight. But look at it now, it came into be a bigger fight now. So we have to wait and see how this fight finish out.
Chael Sonnen commented on the massive promotion surrounding Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. He said it feels like a Hollywood production, with press events built for drama. Jake even brought up Tank's legal issues, making it personal. Sonnen believes the fight has gone beyond business, it's emotional now, fueled by ego and pride. He added that while the event will break records, it may lack the purity that true boxing fans long for.
This ain't gonna be nothing that Calvin Ford is like, he ain't gonna play with you. Listen, Jake Paul is an opportunist. We know this is an exhibition, But Jake Paul is about his bottom line and MVP's bottom line. And if that means sacrifice Tank by knocking his ass over the top rope, Jake Paul is going to deliberately do it. He's going to go out there to knock him out. I promise you. That's why I'm telling Tank Davis, don't bull jive. See, there's a lot of people eating off of Tank Davis right now because, like Calvin Ford said, Tank, you're being too nice. Where's the beef at? Grow your mane back out.
Not ready for this. He, I feel, should have known. I got an article written about me to personalize this, but I got insulted. I was insulted back in about 2012. I was known as the best guest. I was known as the best interview. I was known as the best guy for a press conference. And somebody comes out and they goes, hey, he's got these planned. He's got these lines planned ahead of time. This guy isn't so great. And I remember finding that very comical. I have never had a test in my life where the teacher told us a test was coming up that I didn't prepare for it. I couldn't imagine walking into something. It could be the fight itself. I couldn't imagine not preparing for it. And Tank was simply caught off guard. This is what he does. He's a descendant of Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd did as good of a job as anybody at making sure those press conferences in that image and that character, and it was nothing more than that, it was a character, but he made sure that it was dynamic and compelling. And I just share for you, like he wasn't ready. And it got dirty. It got very, very dirty. Tank apparently has something where he was accused and possibly even charged. If I use the wrong words, I don't know the story. I learned it yesterday when Jake brought it up.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and insights from the world of boxing.